Whoa, we are back, baby. This is episode 105 of Lights Thunder Action, and it's a changing of the guard, the Razor Guard, the Razor Crest. She-Hulk has ended, and we are here to discuss House of the Dragon Dracarys all the way around, because DC Film News is leading the way in our segment of What the News, as well as good old Mephisto. We finally found him, allegedly, and you're never gonna guess who they have cast as that character. It's very nice. Not only that, but we're going to talk Andor, because Jack and I realized that we needed to start this show. JRB pointed it out because he's a great producer. And we're going to talk Andor right at the top because it's the greatest show of all time. Asterisk, maybe. We'll see you after the jump, kids. Welcome to
LTA with
TCR
and JRB.
This is where the fun begins.
You're just not thinking fourth dimensional.
Flores! Peter 03!
Nom nom.
I'm vengeance.
What?
Did we just become best friends?
Yup! I love you guys.
Hold on to your butts.
If we find out you have personalized license plates, you die.
Dude, I almost had you.
To that I say, all right, all right, all right.
Good afternoon, evening, I guess, for some places in the world. Spooky season 2022 is charging forward, and it is time for your Thursday night pick-me-up, where two Thunder buddies dive into all things Marvel, DC, pop culture, IP, and the latest happenings in the film industry.
On tonight's episode, Thomas and I are joined by the Jedi Scribe already on the screen from the Reckless Rebellion, who specializes in infiltrating podcasts. His name is Jack Pues. We're going to ask him all about James Gunn's new mystery movie plans with DC. We're going to talk Ezra Miller's potential my whole lifespan in jail time that he might serve. And we'll talk about all those pesky Marvel delays that just can't seem to stop. But before we get to all of that, Thomas, where can everybody find our show?
We are live beaming directly into your homes and phones via our LightsThunderAction Facebook and the HWWS WebTV channel on Twitter and YouTube. All of those links can be found at Linktree.com/LightsThunderAction. All one word, no hyphens, no spaces, of course. Be sure to like, subscribe, and follow to view the live version of our show, where you can interact with us. But if you don't want to look at our, I guess, single bearded face, but you want to listen to our still doubly beautiful bearded voices,
You know, I'm just going to say that you did it to make Jack feel more included on this episode, but you can find our typically bearded voices on Apple Podcasts, Good Pods, and Spotify. Please follow us, subscribe, like, comment, share, give us 5-star rating, all that good stuff, and ask us a question in the review that you leave, and we will answer it right here on the show. So, Jack Pues is with us tonight.
Oh,
Thomas.
that is his real name. I totally forgot. I keep
him,
calling him Jacksonville Pews. From
oh, that's terrible.
That's his nickname. It's Fan-terribly. It's Fandango. Yes, you're right. It is Fandango.
Oh, Jack, it's been 30 seconds of live airtime talking to you, and we already got to dig in about your favorite NFL team. Why don't you
every week
tell us how you're doing before we start roasting you again about your allegiances?
Well, look, yeah, I don't need to mention much about the Jaguars. We started off hot. It's been a tumble the past few weeks. It's been rough. Not to mention my fantasy football team is even though I'm still number one in our direct league, it's still becoming a struggle. I made a trade with JRB a couple weeks ago, and it has not worked out for me, at least. JRB maybe.
It was bad both ways so far.
Yeah.
That's the thing, is we think we're so smart in the moment with these things, and then every single weekend we look at the scoreboard and we're like, well, clearly I know nothing. So basically what this show is, actually. So Thomas, before we go any further, we have to talk about it. Why did you shave your beautiful beard?
All right, so I didn't want to do it, but they're paying me, so I did it
Ooh.
anyway.
The
I
man.
am hey man, you do what you get. I always said you had to pay me good, and they give me a good role, and they're like, "We'll give you money on top of it." I'm like, "Okay,
Wow.
sure."
Okay.
A project that I'm not 100% sure I'm allowed to talk about live, other than we're doing our promo photo shoot this Friday. I'm sorry, tomorrow in Orlando, and I took the week to try and like get a little bit of sun because I've had a beard for 3.5 years now. Since the last time I went below a 6 or 7, or I guess technically it was a 10 guard on my razor. So I was like, I need a little sun, and then it turned out to be 40 degrees this week. So mistakes were made, but I'm not as pale under here. And now I know that my beard grows wicked fast, so I'm gonna have to trim every day, maybe twice a day while we're filming next at the beginning of next year, at the top of next year. So let's hope it's not 40 degrees then too.
Maybe when I'm a grown up, I'll be able to grow a beard.
Still got a little growing up to do, buddy.
You
Yeah,
are
at least you're not a sellout. Hey.
Yeah. Oh no, he went to the Sarlacc pit, just like Kleinfeld last night. Jack, speaking of Sarlacc, we started late because we were just gushing about Andor because he decided to cheat on Reckless Rebellion last night. It's okay. I don't blame you. I would have cheated on us too if I weren't the host. For real, by like going double dipping, back to back. I guess I'm gonna kill this analogy by just saying, all right, spoilers for Andor. I'm gonna pick up right where we left off. Partagaz, in the very first episode that we see them interact, Partagaz and Dedra Miro, he mentioned like the way you've ascended up the ranks and the way you've been promoted is going to cause eyes, especially someone as valuable as you and what you bring and what you can do. So I don't mind what you're doing, but you need to back it up with information, hard evidence. That comes around this time. And she is the only one who is standing up to him in a very fuck you, I don't care who you are, what your rank is, kind of a like in the same way that you would stand up to your father if you were working with him, and a like, see me type of move. And she pulls it off. And that's why I think that she's related in some way. Maybe it's dad, maybe it's uncle, maybe it's some kind of family related to Partagaz.
What if he like picked her out specifically when she was coming up the ranks, and so like it's star pupil kind of thing? I think that could be it.
That's another idea that I've had as well. In the same way that Yularen picked Agent Callus as well.
I did not. Was that in Rebels?
Yeah, that's in Rebels.
I completely forgot about it. I can't wait to rewatch that before Ahsoka.
Yeah, I'm gonna just restart now at this point. Once this season of Andor ends, I'm just gonna start back at 1. I'm at season 4. Because you know me, I love me some Thrawn. But Blue Man sympathizer. Woo-hoo! And very excited. Another thing that I wanted to point out is I think Blevin is a spy for the rebellion.
Really?
Because one of two things has happened. Luthen got that information on Cassian Andor because either A, there's a spy in the ISB who's feeding him that information on potential targets. Right? Potential. He's in charge of Morlana. He knew what was going on in theory. So, he's got spies there on the ground. So he might have known. A. B. It's Marva who's the plug for Luthen. So when she mentions the rebellion, she's actually mentioning the rebellion, and it's not just a new thing she's getting into. I don't know where I lean on Marva, like on that situation. Is she like, we're starting a rebellion because of this? Or is it the rebellion? That's what I'm here for. That's why I'm staying, because I'm bringing it here to us, even though I've been kind of feeding information out there.
Interesting. I mean, going off Blevin first, it's a good point because he's also the one who calls out Dedra of saying she's overreaching her boundaries of her authority. And I mean, obviously he could just be doing that because, he he's a rule follower, but you could play another level to it of like he could be doing it because he doesn't want her to see what's actually going on here. That could be a great call. I love that scene. I love I brought it up on the direct podcast yesterday with Matt. Like, I just love the Empire's, like, the dynamic between everybody and just showing the absolute reasons like why the Empire eventually fails.
Absolutely.
Because of those power struggles. But yeah, with Marva, I don't know. I think part of it could be oh, Amber Alert.
Amber Alert.
Damn. Hope everybody's okay.
Columbia County, if you live there, be on the lookout for I don't know. Why did it not go to? Anyways, continue, sir. Sorry about that. We had to save a child.
Yes. Much more important than what we're talking about.
Yeah.
But with Marva, I think I kind of took it as she just wants to not necessarily like start a whole organized rebellion on her end, but just like she wants to start fighting back. But it is interesting that she does say the rebellion, like the rebellion, which is
first time it's said.
Exactly. So I don't know. Yeah, there's so many. That's something I discovered in yesterday's episode was that I had this sense of uneasiness in every single scene. And like, cause I just feel like there are different layers and different levels that are happening without like mentioning them, like Blevin possibly being a spy or Marva actually being part of the rebellion. So I feel like there's always something there. And I would not be surprised if at some point something along those lines, maybe not all of them, but one of them is revealed. So
yeah, I think we're going to circle back to that. I think he's going to officially get into the rebellion when Mama Marva goes down and he reads Nimic's manifesto. It's going to be the two catalysts officially for him to be like, I've been in this fight since I was 26 years old. And there was something else. It's cool. We're fine. We'll talk after because we need to talk really quick. House of the Dragon. But first, internet. We got to unmute him because he did it. He got halfway through episode 1. Halfway through episode 1. And then he stopped.
And then he stopped.
Then he stopped.
Then
JRB.
He called it quits.
Are you done forever? Or are you going to take my advice and just skip that scene and continue on with the story?
I don't know. I mean, I get that something that extreme kind of, it really did bolster that premiere as meeting
Game of Thrones.
the Game of Thrones expectation, like it really kind of put fans in their place of like saying like, okay, we're in for a real ride. They're not, half-assing this. This is going to be a real shot. And for that, I definitely respect it, but it was way too much for me. It was, I can't do, the blood and gore part of it is okay. I can deal with that. We watch things like The Boys, and obviously, like Punisher and Daredevil on Netflix was never, it never shied away from that. But like, it's like the agony and like the screaming and like like that part really irks me and like really sticks with me for a while. So like, that's what I couldn't stomach. As soon as that started, I was like, I'm out. And I think it was like right at the halfway point of that episode.
Yes. So in case I didn't set it up very well, apologies or not. It is when
anyone following this conversation probably knows what we're talking about.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's
so it is
the medieval C-section.
It is when Emma, the first wife of King Viserys, has
beautiful family, by the way,
her right to choose taken away and is forced to have a medieval C-section, which is just cutting into her belly and like very largely and pulling out the child. And then the child doesn't make it. Jack, swinging to you, Game of Thrones king.
What a transition.
in this series, in my opinion, that's the worst fucking thing that's happened. That is the one scene I skip on any rewatch because I too, JRB, can't handle the screams. The screams got me. I was like, oh, the gore's bad, but like I covered my eyes and was like, oh god, that's worse. I don't know what to do right now. And I've not rewatched that scene. I've skipped it every time I've gone to episode 1. Jack, how can we sell this to JRB for the story?
Well, first, I do want to sympathize with them, empathize. It was hard, or I guess both of you guys. It was hard for me as well. It did. It came really close to that line of like, I can't watch this anymore, or like, is it effective enough to make me keep watching because I need to see the fallout of this, especially because her choice was taken away and how her daughter's going to react to that. But I mean, that this is the starting point of everything. I guess the best way I can sell it of like this choice, this decision is kind of, I mean, there's another decision that comes later in that episode that also kicks things off, but like specifically that it just starts this endless spiral that we've seen unravel the rest of this season. And I think again, like part of it is just, I've grown to care so much about the characters that scene is always like sticking with me when I'm still watching the show, even though we have different actors here and there sometimes with different characters, like you can feel the effect of that scene. And yeah, I do think that's definitely the worst it gets. I think that's the most gruesome scene in all of Game of Thrones by far because of the agony of it, because the agony just brings a realism to it. And I guess the situation does too.
Right. It's one of those few instances where I can't not tell myself,
right.
Or I can't tell myself this is fake. It just seems too real, you know?
Yeah.
It's real. It comes down to the acting. When it's good enough, it sometimes turns me away, you know?
It's a good point. Well, because like there's a difference if you think about like violence or gore from like a war standpoint or a battle, like seeing someone like chop someone's hand off or something, we don't necessarily, I know that definitely like probably happens in certain parts of the world, but like, or certain situations, but we don't see that every day. But we see women give birth and go through horrific things and deal with difficult choices. Like that's a part of our modern world, and that's why it is so difficult. But for me, again, it almost crossed that line, but it made it resonate a little bit more. But yeah, I mean, in terms of other selling points of this show, I mean, I could just get into this recent episode because there's so much, man.
Yeah,
this show, it's my favorite television show. It's definitely my favorite.
Please dive into it. Because like every week Thomas has been trying to convince me, and like I've gotten halfway through an episode, so who knows? Like I'm slowly but surely chipping away.
One thing before we get too deep is JRB. I've talked about this with the boys. When I watched Robin get blown through by A Train, I stopped for a week and didn't watch it. I was like, I don't know if I can handle this, because I watched that late at night and it caught me off guard. And it was right before bed, and I was like, I don't want to think about this while I sleep, because I'm gonna have some dreams.
Watch The Boys during the day if you can.
Yeah. Oh, I can watch it at night now because I'm like, all right, cool. It is what it is. I understand what I'm getting into. Just like I can watch House of the Dragon and Game of Thrones at night. And I will say that one episode really fucked my dreams up that night. I won't lie to you. It hurt. It hurt because I was like, oh God, this was not an episode to watch late at night. It was better than the Cowboys game, though. I fucking assure you of that. But yeah, let's hop into the episode, which I don't even know the name of the episode is. If I'm being honest, I should know this.
Ooh, I don't know either.
Well, the king is dead.
I'm not gonna know it.
The king is dead. You sure aren't. So the king is dead. Allison gets told, if I'm not mistaken, the first person to find out the king is dead is a little boy. The second person to find out is a spy. Then Allison is told, and then it just kind of trickles on from there. And they have a small council meeting where we find out, God, do we have like a list of their names? Because I want 100%. Here we go. Yeah. So they mention it. And then Allison mentions that, Aegon, he told me right before he died that he wanted Aegon to be king, and I don't know what to do with that. And they're just like, so we can, fast forward our plans then, because he said the thing, and beat about a boo boop. And Allison's like, wait a minute, you all were going to install Aegon when the king died no matter what. You've been plotting treason. And then Lord Lemon Beesbury, good old fashioned old man, gets up and cries it out and says, "I will not stand for this." And Sir Kristen Cole puts him down for good because he's a piece of shit. He's a messy bitch and he needs to die, but he probably won't. Also, he's got a 5 o'clock shadow, so I guess I should also like go down too while we're at it. Like messy bitches, you know.
That's all it takes.
It's all it takes. Just a little bit of a scrub.
Should have kept the beard.
You know, shut up. So they go right on in, and they're talking back and forth, and the Lord Commander of the King's Guard, Sir Harold Westerling, bows out. He says, "No, I will not head to Dragonstone and kill the heir and her sires." Her sons? Is she the sire? Anyways,
I don't know how that works.
Descendants, I will not kill the whole family line just to do your stupid thing, because there is no king right now, and I answer only to the king. And Sir Kristen Cole's like, "Well, I shall fight you because I'm a peasant bitch." I really don't like that man.
He sucks.
He sucks. I liked him so much in the first few episodes, and then
Me
he
too.
became a spoiled cunt.
Yep.
I used the word. I'm so sorry, internet. I should have given you the C warning right there. But he used it against Rhaenyra, and then in this episode, he's like, "The mother. Every woman is a courtesy of the mother, and they should all be spoken of reverence." Fucking hypocrite. So they determine, Rhaenyra and Prince Daemon must die, and blah 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 blah, and because neither Rhaenyra nor Daemon will bend the knee, and Alicent's like, "I don't want that," and then they're like, "We can't find Aegon." Eric and Eric go to find Aegon for Otto Hightower because one's with an E, one's with an A, and George R. Martin doesn't really like to change names very much, which again confusing. And then Sir Kristen Cole, and I can't believe I'm saying this, Jack Pews, really, really falling in love with Aemond. One Eye Aemond. I'm really digging him.
I am too.
I'm so digging him. Like, I don't want him to fight Daemon. I want them to join forces.
I know.
But they won't. They won't. And it's crap. It's poop. And I don't like it.
I actually kind of... Yeah, I kind of think Aemon has a sense of, I don't want to say it because I don't know what's about to happen with his character. He has a sense of honor to him.
He does. He's the only one who knows how to be a king in this fucking realm.
Yeah, and a warrior. Like that's a rare combination. Like Robert Baratheon, dude doesn't know how to be king at all. Doesn't care. I guess that's the difference. But yeah, oh, by the way, I looked up the title of this episode, The Green Council.
Oh, yes.
Which is a phenomenal title.
And you know what the title is? You know what the title is next week?
What?
The Black Queen.
Oh my God. This show is so freaking good, man.
The titles have us losing it, man.
They do.
What is the significance behind the Black Queen again? I think you mentioned it last week.
Go for it, Tom.
Team Black is the Targaryen side, the Targaryen bloodline, and Team
Even though their hair is white.
Yes, that's their their colors are black and red, like the NWO New World Order, Wolfpack.
Okay.
Yeah, I couldn't think of a team with red and black off the top of my head. The Cardinals, we got there. Oh God, of course I didn't think of them.
Cardinals aren't playing tonight.
Yeah, let's go D-Hop. Anyways, yeah, so Black Queen. Continue, Jack.
Yeah, God, this show, just going, continuing on the title, but also the opening sequence, the Green Council, that kind of like opening scene. Like, number one, Sir Kristen Cole, you suck. You are the worst. I hate you. Just had to get that out of the way. But also, I love like the dynamic of Alicent truly believes that Viserys wanted their son Aegon to be king. But again, especially after the episode before, a sense of honor to her now. She's like, this is not, number one, it's not okay that you guys were planning this without me. But also, like this isn't something of like we got to wipe out the whole family. Like, you seriously think Viserys would have wanted that? No.
Yeah.
And you're just betraying everything that character stood for, and betraying his family. And it's just it's the heartbreak of it, but also just it's pure Game of Thrones. Everything that happens in that scene, especially with Cole and I forget the Lord Commander's name,
Westerling.
His beard
what a
is
cool name.
awesome. Great white beard.
Westerling.
No, but like his dynamic with Cole and like saying, I'm not going to be a part of this until there's a king. I don't take orders from you guys. And shout out to the man who died. I don't know his name either. I suck at the names for this show and kind of Andor. I'm still getting used to Andor with the names. But for standing his ground and again, having the sense of honor. And in this episode, it's a damn shame, but similar to Game of Thrones season 1, episode 9, honor did not win.
No,
in either that episode or this episode.
Yeah.
And shit.
Super shit, honestly. Not only does honor not win, but they're literally installing a fucking rapist as king.
Yeah. Oh my God, I didn't even think about that. Yes.
And
this guy is horrible.
He's a terrible dude. He's a piece of shit. We should kill Aegon, the second or the third. I'm not sure which one he is.
Second, I think.
Second. The third one is the youngerest one. Youngerist. Wow. Words are good, man. So continuing on that train, Aegon is missing. He has run away. He's hiding down in the Silk Streets or the Rat Pillars or wherever the hell he is. And eventually, what I love is Eric and Eric cannot find him. They find they go. Let me get my sleeves ready here. They go to a fight pit of children fighting each other with razor sharp claws and teeth filed for they went full Ryloth, bro. They filed their teeth down.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah.
We crossed the streams there. I love it. And they show underneath a bunch of boards. Keep this in mind. A Targaryen child. Why? Well, because the rapist, future King Aegon, has been out there doing his thing. That's all he cares about. It's all he's ever cared about. And Aemon even mentions that. That's what he goes after. That's what he brought me here. I know where to find him because he brought me here when I was 13. And beep ba bop ba boop. And Aemon gets recognized by the lady who took him. And all I gotta say is fat bottom girls. If you listen to that song, you'll understand why I say that. Because that song is fucked up. But he ends up going forward with Sir Criston Cole, and he ends up finding him. And I don't remember how it was they found him. I think they ran into someone specific, but I know Eric and Eric were brought to found their way to the White Worm.
Yeah. Who
is Daemon's ex-lady, Meleis, I believe is her name. And she strikes a deal. Sir Otto Hightower, the Hand of the King, strikes a deal, and they get her information, and she mentions, I could have killed him, but I didn't. And that's going to come back later when we talk about Larys and the foot of the king and the foot of the queen, and where that leads us in terms of trusting Hightower.
Is there a weird foot thing going on here?
Not at all, JRB. You just hang around, man. You hang around.
That's the second or third time I've heard about feet this week for Game of Thrones.
Keep your socks on, kid. It's cold up there in Illinois. But
oh yeah.
How did? Because you look like you knew the answer. How did Criston Cole and Aemon the Honorable find Aegon hiding beneath a table made of wood and board?
I will say, Thomas, I did see a very slight spoiler on like a fandom website about what Aemon's, I don't know what you would call it, like nickname becomes, like Viserys the Peaceful was in this episode. I did see what his name is, and I can tell you this, it's not honorable. That's all I will say.
It's not Aemon the One Eye.
Definitely not.
Okay, because I thought that was what he was going to be turned into because of another podcast I listened to. So that's cool. That was a dumb
Granted,
nickname.
it was a fandom website, and once I saw it, I immediately like closed out of the website. So he could have a bunch of nicknames. I don't know.
They could change it from the book for sure.
Exactly. But Cole and Aemon were able to find Aegon because they were following Eric and Eric.
That's right.
I forget how to differentiate those names. But because Eric and Eric were given the location of Aegon by the White Worm. So they saw them, they followed them there, and then they had a fight. And I'm sure you'll get to it. They eventually capture Aegon. Cole and Aemon capture Aegon.
Yes, because Eric number 1 fights Kristen Cole while Eric with an A doesn't, or vice versa. It's vice versa. Eric with an A is all about following Hightower and being the man, and Eric with an E is like, this is dumb.
Yeah, he's not going to be a good king.
He's like, he literally, his exact quote was, he abuses his power to send me away, and then I'm left doing nothing. I have to obey him, and it's like, okay. So then there's a great discussion between Aegon and Aemon, and he goes, "I'm not fit to be king. I don't want to be king. No one wants me to be king. I'm not fit." And Aemon goes, "You'll get no." Well, I don't remember the exact, but it's basically like, I agree, dipshit. You'll get no, you'll get no rebuke from me. You'll get no,
something like that. Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, you're not. But guess what? This is the way things are. This is the way things have to be. So we're gonna make you king because we can't have our aunt be king, because then those little shits will then be king. And they took my eye, is the line of logic I would assume it goes to. Eventually, he gets brought in and blah, 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 blah. Let's jump to the other main plot of this episode.
Can I say something real quick, Tom?
Absolutely. Please save me.
Great discussion between Aemon and Cole about Aegon being king and saying, I'm the one who studies the histories.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the one who studies philosophy. And I don't know if he says this, but obviously like he's a badass too with a sword. And he says, if they come looking for me instead because they can't find Aegon, I intend to be found.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that he makes his purpose very clear. I don't think JRB liked that. I don't think JRB likes Aemon very much.
Technical difficulties, I guess.
But I like that he makes his intentions clear. And there's a certain look that we'll get to at the end of this episode that he gives Aegon.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, oh shit, I don't know where this is going, but it doesn't look great, at least for Aegon.
Yeah, we'll get back to Aegon right before his coronation, because there's a moment where I'm like, oh, Jesus fucking Christ, dude. Like, I can't believe Game of Thrones did this to me on this piece of shit human being character, but they did it, and that's what good writing does. But Rhaenys Targaryen, the queen that never was, is locked into the Red Keep because she's hanging out there. You know, she's. I mean, this is like right after the last episode. The last episode ends. The Targaryens fly off to wherever, and she decides to stay there because she was going to leave the day after or something. The king dies in the night. Beep, bop, boop. Here we are. She's locked in the Red Keep. Alicent comes in. She wants House Valerian's support, asks Rhaenys what her alliance with Rhaenyra has gotten her except grief. Says, you know, it's
Oh, we lost Thomas.
Is he frozen? Okay, good.
Yeah,
okay.
no, it's him.
got him back. Oh, thank God.
Oh, there he is. Oh, we can hear him now.
I hear you, but your
there's-
picture's still frozen.
Yeah, no picture. We'll take him off the screen for a second. But
Okay.
unless
Also,
anyone
the
wants to
dragon,
look at
Jeremy.
Thomas's beautiful mug. Oh, now it doesn't show anything. All right. I'm just vamping because I literally have nothing to contribute to this conversation. So
It's okay. Have you seen Game of Thrones?
No. See,
Okay,
that's
okay, I
that's
didn't think
the
so.
main point that Thomas is getting at, is that like I can start here without having to see all of that.
Yeah.
And there he is. Here he comes. But Thomas has always said that I can get by watching this and then go into Game of Thrones after. Do you still agree with that?
Yeah, you definitely could. I think it would actually, I kind of envy you. I wish I could live two different lives where I watched this first and then watched Game of Thrones. But I will say, just kind of like an overall thought on this show so far in season 1.
Yeah.
This season is such a great setup for what's to come for the rest of the show, but also like it's also got a quicker pace than Game of Thrones did, where a lot of Game of Thrones, even though you're getting a lot of character development and things do happen, but it's all for a big payoff in season 8. And we can all debate whether that payoff was good in season 8. But House of the Dragon, like, again, it's setting things up for later, but damn, it's just a great show right now too. And there's shit going on. So yeah, I do envy you. I would love for you to watch House of the Dragon, then Game of Thrones, and just to get your thoughts on it, just to compare and contrast, because that would be, for this to be your introduction to the world. I don't even know what to think of that, because this season is so crazy.
The sequences of going like through the town and up to the castle and like those really large like panovers of like the village and everything, like really gave me like the Asgard type feel when like you're going through in like the Thor movies. And I was like, whoa, like this is probably like huge for fans of Game of Thrones that were watching for so long to see, you know, to get to go through all of that in the history, like what was it, 200-300 years prior or something.
Something like that.
Yeah, so like I was watching that and I could appreciate it like from the outside, but like I know that Thomas just told us that his Wi-Fi went out. Okay, so he's with us in spirit, but he's hopping over to his phone right now. But yeah, I could see that like from a fan's perspective, like that would have been so freaking cool to see. So like I know like if I do end up going through this, I'll probably want to come back around and have that experience you guys are having now.
Yeah.
But like it's fresh for me. Like I have no frame of reference, no background knowledge on it. The only reason I know the name that you already said with the white hair family is because Alistair, is that what it is?
Well, there's the white haired family is Targaryen.
Is Alistair even a name?
I kind of think so, but the only thing that's coming to my mind is Allison, who is one of the main characters in the show.
See,
but I do kind of think that might be right. Look, Game of Thrones names, it took me, I've watched Game of Thrones all the way through now, I think 3 times, maybe 4 times. And I just did a couple months ago, and I still have a hard time with the names. There's just so many houses and so many people with the same names. Ugh.
Well, then I'm going to let you take this. Thomas wants you to continue with Renea and her pondering. Speaking of Allison, what she tells Allison in that moment in the Red Keep, being snuck out and set her up for the final scene. So please tell us your thoughts on that moment that I definitely know about.
Well, it's funny you say that, Jeremy, because this is the one scene that I didn't get to rewatch that I wanted to before I hopped on this show. So I'll do my best. Damn, Thomas, that Wi-Fi.
Wow.
Perfect timing. But with Rhaenys, so essentially what happens, she gets locked in the Red Keep because they want to keep her in there until they can handle all this business and basically rein in Aegon as the new king, because they know that she will try to sneak away and try to get out of King's Landing, the capital, and try to go warn somebody, or just, you know, she could be a problem. So they lock her in, and then Allison eventually comes in to her room and tries to convince her to join our side. You should have been the queen. She says that right up front. Rhaenys was one of the options to become, to take the crown, but instead it was given to Viserys, who died in the previous episode. And I think everyone kind of agrees without talking about it much until this episode that Rhaenys should have been queen. She had the temperament for it. She knows how to play the political game. And Allison's like, you should have been queen. You've gotten nothing really. You've gotten screwed. Join us and defeats the wrong word, but stand against the other Targaryen line, the Team Black, if you will. And Thomas, you're here with audio. I honestly forget the exact thing. Oh, you sound good. You sound good. Okay. I think so anyway.
Sounds like that beautiful bearded voice I know and love.
Yeah.
I like it better this way. Just kidding. He's such a handsome devil.
He is very handsome. So Thomas, tell me what you think, or not tell me what you think. Tell me if you remember what Rhaenys specifically said. It doesn't have to be word for word, but I know generally that she says no to Allison. But there is a certain line that she says to Alicent when she's saying no. And I forget what it was, but it was a good one. I remember how I reacted.
It's all up to you, buddy. I'm not going to help at this at all.
Don't screw up, Thomas. Thomas, are you still there?
We lost Thomas again.
We lost him. No. Right.
This
literally
this happened to me last week. This is
really?
back-to-back weeks now. Luckily I made it all the way to the end of the show. We were literally doing our outro. And as soon as it started, I cut out.
I hope so. Can you hear me now?
Hey, there he is. Yeah.
Okay. I don't know what happened. Technology, man. Blame Tony Stark.
Tony Stank.
But it's basically something along the lines of, Rhaenys looks at Alicent and says, you toil, you answer to one man to another, first the king. Now, the king, your father, your son, you're hiding behind them. You're looking for an open window to look out inside of your little prison. And then she leans in and goes, have you ever thought of yourself on the Iron Throne?
Yes.
And it's like,
Dang.
things are happening. So it is just gold with what happens in that scene. And that really sets up, if I'm not mistaken, from that point, Alicent goes, and that's when she goes to like tell Kristen Cole, you go find Aegon. Like that's what leads her to oppose her father, follow along the same line of getting Aegon up, and then putting him on the throne with her as the guide instead of Otto.
I don't think so, Thomas. Actually, I think this scene happens after she sends Cole to find Aegon instead of Eric and to bring Aegon to her, which is I'm because I was rewatching like the first half of this episode before I hopped on here, and I think that's the sequence of events, which is interesting though. But I mean, it's a great line because it's two women speaking essentially about living in such a patriarchal society and world, and saying you've had to hide behind all these people. And Rhaenys, to her credit, she hasn't hidden behind all these men. She tried to claim the Iron Throne. I mean, claim might be the wrong word. She wanted, obviously, to be chosen for it. And she didn't get it. Like what's implied, and I think everyone would agree with this, because she's a woman. I mean, like there was no other reason to pick Viserys. I mean, she was more of a direct line because I think she was the king's
only
granddaughter.
child left. Like
was she,
only
was she
descendant left.
Well, yeah, descendant. That's a good, descendant.
Yeah, but I thought she was the daughter.
She may be. I could be wrong.
You might be right. She might have been the granddaughter because that was an old ass man.
It was very old man. But I like, this is the type of theme that I like in Game of Thrones, of like how, and especially it goes to Rhaenyra too, like how they're handling this whole situation, because so much of it is predicated on being a male or female, and so much of the conflict is about being a male or female, and whether or not Rhaenyra, she is the oldest child of Viserys, but then there's Aegon, who is the firstborn son. And again, why is Aegon being chosen? Not because he'd be a good king, not because he's a great warrior or anything. It's straight up just because he's the firstborn son. And I like how Rhaenys makes Alicent confront that, but then also confront the fact of like, I know what you secretly desire. Or have you secretly desired being queen or being on the Iron Throne? And if you haven't, maybe you should think about that and stop hiding behind all these men. It's a great scene between two fantastic actresses.
Yes, you're right. It was her. She's the granddaughter in the direct line off the first son. So right. She's the true heir in the line. But then it goes to Viserys, because he is the only other grandchild, and but he came from like the final child. So, and he didn't want to choose and set the world on fire and blah, 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 because he was a bitch. Jaehaerys, just do what's right. Just follow the lines. But yeah, it's a great scene. I concur. Like this was the setup for Andor. That scene specifically, in my opinion, was the setup for Andor. Everything else was like, yeah, but that was just pure, unequivocal openness while still hiding behind politics. It was very Mon Mothma,
Right.
very Dedra,
Yeah.
if you will. Oh man, girl bosses this week, as Tom Drew said. Girl bosses are on point this week. Let's fucking go, dude. Let's go. Can you believe this? Like, imagine if She-Hulk were on this week. It'd be girls everywhere, man, kicking ass, taking names. Where does that leave us in the plot? Let's see. She gets snuck out of the Red Keep by Eric with an E, which is I believe that's whom sneaks her out. And they're trying to get out, and then all of a sudden it's like everyone's being mushed to the dragon pit area for this thing going on. The gold cloaks are being gold cloaky, and I've not liked them once. They're just corrupt little piss ants. And the reasoning is Jaehaerys. Oh my god, wrong guy, wrong king. Aegon II is about to be king, like officially king. Before he comes in, it's all talking about like, oh, father didn't want me to be king. Why are you doing this? He told you this. No, he didn't even love me. And it's like, he told me in his dying moments he wanted you to be king. And it's like, okay, all right, well, okay, let's see. And essentially, it's like he looks at her and goes, "Do you love me?" And her response is something along the lines of like, "You're an idiot."
Yeah, you're being silly. Thomas,
Yeah.
do you believe her? Does she love him?
She didn't say anything about whether she did or didn't.
I know.
So
I think she
No.
was playing around. I don't think she does.
I don't think she does either, especially because of what he's done.
Yeah, in last episode, I think she says, "You're no son of mine." And I think that's why he asked the question. Because it's like, you're doing all this work to place me on the throne after you like literally just said those. Because I think she said that after the young girl was raped by Aegon in I think it was the previous episode.
Yep.
And I think she says something along those lines. And I mean, I would be confused if I was Aegon too. It's like, you literally just said, "I'm not your son," but you're doing everything in your power to make me king. What's the deal? And it's just her playing politics, getting around the question. Stop being so silly, or whatever she said.
Oh, it's not that. It's like, you're an imbecile.
Yes.
That's what it is. And it's like, come on, dude. So this leads to him walking in and going through and blah, blah, blah. And he gets up there and they put the crown on. He goes through all the pomp, ceremony, circumstance. There's a specific scene that we skipped over that I just remembered. Alicent and Otto both have like a toe-to-toe, and it's a combative battle. Like, and it ends up with her going, "Aegon will be on the throne, and we will do it this way, and we will do it that way. And if we don't do it that way, remember who got you your job back." And he's like, "As you wish." And he's like, "I just lost. I lost so hardcore." Because it's basically like, she says all this, and he goes, "You look so much like your mother in some lights." And she just rolls like, "Ugh, whatever."
Like, shut up.
Straight, like, rolls her eyes, "Fuck you," turns and walks out. And I'm like, there you go, Alicent. There you go. I have not liked you until now. And that's where we get to this scene. Pomp and circumstance. He's now the king. And we've had, throughout this whole point, Helena, since 3 episodes ago, by the way, when she was a youngling, when a different actress played her, beware the beast beneath the boards. Beware the beast beneath the boards. I don't think we've seen that yet. Let me rephrase that. Everyone's like, "Oh, it's what happens, what I'm about to talk about next." And I'm like, I don't think so there, my loves. I think it's going to be much, much worse. What are they all saying? Rhaenys goes down out of the bottom of the dragon pit, comes up with Meleys, busts out, literally killing so many people. Really going to piss off the world there. They're really not going to like dragons after that one. And basically just goes right up to the king and the queen and everybody, and like just has the dragon go. She could have said the words Dracarys and killed them all. Ended it. Could have taken the throne even. And they're trying to shut the gates, lock the dragon in, and Otto Hightower's like, open the doors. A little bit of honor for that man. I don't literally like, don't lock them in here because then they're gonna rain fire upon everybody.
Or don't lock me in here. I mean, it could have been a selfish thing too.
Could have, but it's not like he could have gotten away.
Yeah, right.
So it's like, I think it's A, don't lock this dragon in here. We're gonna let her go. B, you're gonna lock everybody in here, and we're all gonna die, including all these people. So like, he's got to stay political. It's all about casualties. But Rhaenys does not. Rhaenys chooses not to kill the king and the entire family right then and there because she knows what it's like to lose a child, if you will. And she's lost two, so that's a super bummer. And that leads to her flying off to go warn Rhaenyra and Daemon, and that's how the episode ends, right then and there. And it is amazing. So beware the beast beneath the boards. You've got 15 minutes, so we're gonna wrap up here because Aegon was beneath a table made of wood. His children are being thrown beneath wood boards to fight in this pit because they can't stay alive. They can't be raised. As we all know, Robert Baratheon had a bunch of bastards, and they all wanted, and they could have came for the throne as well. So it's one of those things. You must protect the throne at all costs. And she says, beware the beast beneath the boards. That dragon pit, buddy, that's not made of wood. That's stone.
Yeah, I did think about that.
As soon as that happened, I was like, damn, that's like the dragon busted through stone. That's impressive, dude. And people are like, oh my God, it's this, it's that. No, man, that's stone. The beast beneath the boards has not yet fully been revealed, but I think it's multi-layered. And the fact that Aegon is a beast and he was hiding under the table, and now the boy who was not loved by his mommy and daddy, and all of us, he does not give a fuck about this until they are cheering him and chanting his name. Like
he embraces it.
He embraces it, and he's like, oh, they love me.
Maybe this king thing won't be that bad.
Exactly. So I think as Nathan Johnson, who will be on next week, has alluded to us, there's something else going on with the beast beneath the boards that may come to play, which I'm very excited for. Jack Pews, how you feel, man? Like, where do you land on this episode? What else do you want to talk about that we've yet to say?
Well, I have two questions for you, Thomas, because I'm curious, and you did kind of answer one of them. My first one was, why doesn't Rhaenys kill them? And my answer was similar to yours of like, she doesn't want to kill. Because, I mean, look, if she says Dracarys, they're all dead. It's not just the son. Like, they all would have gotten wiped out. Yep. So, I don't know. Like, I understand if she was... Dracarys means breathe fire, essentially. Like, telling the dragon to burn whatever.
Kind of like Aragon, like Brisingr. Like,
I don't know.
No,
I know what
Aragon
is, but
you guys don't know Aragon, but you.
No, man.
I know what
you guys
it
would
is,
love the Aragon,
but
books.
like I have not.
I would not like the books. I've tried them. They were hard for me to get into. It could be dyslexia, but it was a struggle.
Really? Wow, that seems like.
Aren't they making a series?
I believe that they were working on a series recently. Yeah.
They are. There was a movie once, and it was not good. I've been told.
You don't have to watch the movie, but
it's like the Percy Jackson movie. I watch it.
I liked the first one, but I didn't like anything they did with.
Well, look, I mean, I liked it too. I was really young when I saw it, and I was like, "Yeah, Percy Jackson."
That's true. I haven't watched it since I was like 11. So.
It's rough. I'm gonna tell you right now.
That's exactly how I feel about Dragon Ball Evolution. I loved it, and I was like, "It's not that bad." And then I got older and went, "That's fucking terrible. Let's delete that from the history. Let's delete it from the annal of history." Like, no, done. Let's kill it. Kill it with fire! Dracarys, the Dragon Ball franchise of live action movies.
My bad. I had to ask about the Dracarys thing.
It's okay.
No, now we're on the same page. Exactly. We got back to it. So why doesn't she say it in that moment, do you think? Because if she was going to kill all of them. Like, if she was just specifically going to kill Aegon, I get it, because she knows how much Alicent cares about her kids. I mean, for the most part anyway. But I kept thinking about her motivation in that scene. So I mean, like, what do you think?
I think it's also coming down to honor. Like, she is an
True.
honorable person, and she does not want to, like, she already committed a bunch of murder with the dragon, right? That's a lot to weigh on a conscience.
Those poor people.
Those poor homies. Those poor, literally poor peasants. All getting slayed for no reason. Just like Gotham. It's just Gotham. Westeros
kind
is
of,
Gotham. Who's Batman? None of them. They're all suckers. They all suck. They're all leeches. What's your second query?
Well, I will just say, I guess the thing that I thought about for her motivation was simply that maybe because she has a good political mind, because again, she should have been queen. I think maybe she still thinks there's a political way to end this conflict rather than with bloodshed.
Okay.
Or at least bloodshed, least bloodshed of the Targaryens and like the royalty, because the peasants apparently don't matter. But my second question is,
we don't matter.
What is Otto's motivation besides just wanting his family to be in power? Because I was starting to think, he mentions it in this episode of doing what's good for the realm. And it reminds me very much of Varys from Game of Thrones, the bald dude who did a lot of political maneuvering, did a lot of scheming, and wasn't all that good of a guy. But I think especially by the end of it, we see he really just cared the most about the realm. He did whatever he thought would be best for the realm. So I'm like, does Otto have that same motivation, or is his a little bit more corrupted in that I want the, like, kind of like Littlefinger, I want the power. I want my family to have the power.
I don't like Otto. He's every single suggestion he's ever given King Viserys has been selfish. Unlike Sir Lionel Strong,
I couldn't tell you.
His hand after Otto Hightower.
Oh yes, he was a good. Yeah, he was good. He was a good hand.
He always gave unbiased recommendations, and that's when he goes to resign. He's like, I can't be unbiased anymore. Why? I cannot tell you that, sir. So, so it's like, that's one of those things. I think Otto does care about the realm. Like, it's not like a farce. He really does care about the realm. The difference is, let me ask you a question. Let me answer your question with a question.
It on me.
Is it better to be the puppet in charge or the one who whispers into the ears of the puppet?
I would say the latter.
Yeah.
At least, especially in Otto's mind. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what he is. That's what he's doing. He's guiding the realm. And now that his grandson, right, is in charge, and he's, I'm assuming, shown love to his grandson at a lot of different times. I think that's where it all kind of falls right there.
Okay. Yeah.
He's a bitch. He's a messy bitch.
Basically.
Cut his arm off and turn him into a lizard and Dracarys that motherfucker.
Yes.
Jack Pews. We did it, man. You came on, you conquered, you saw, we Dracarys.
Infiltrated another podcast.
Yeah. You hey, at least I got to talk to you this week, right?
Yeah, true. I can tell you what,
Klein and David did not.
Klein, I'm sorry. I mean, if Klein wants to have me on Controller Club, I'll happily join. I would be a horrible infiltrator for that because I know nothing about games at all. But Klein, I'll accept it just to kind of be there. I mean, I'll kind of be like JRB for this segment, at least, of just,
I'm there for moral support.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll be the control in the little experiment that you're doing.
There you go.
Look at that.
Scientific.
Science.
Look at this guy.
There you go. Every experiment needs one. So
yes,
I'm kind of making this whole right now.
I'm glad you brought that up. Jack, before you give everyone your socials and where to find you and all of your podcasting and world famous journalist endeavors, sell House of the Dragon to JRB right now. It is best you can through 9 episodes with what we just talked about, knowing what JRB likes. If you know that. I'm not sure how close you
Or
are.
more importantly, what I don't like.
I know
Yeah.
certain things of what he likes and doesn't like because just, the different Twitter chats that we all have. But I don't know. Jeremy, give me some of your likes and dislikes in terms of the franchises.
so here,
just
all right.
some like the
Well,
big ones.
I give you a little. All right, go ahead, Tom.
Because I do. I
So
can be here
he
till
loves-
7:20. By the way, so we
He
do have
loves
a
the
little bit.
boys.
He does love the boys. Okay,
He does
that's
love the
I
boys.
do
So
love.
like,
I love the boys. I really like the boys.
and I think the height of the boys is you never know what to expect.
Mhm.
You never know who's gonna survive, and the writing is exquisite, and that is putting it in a PG way. That's G-rated way to say it because it's fucking amazing.
Yeah.
The boys, and I think House of the Dragon on every level matches that. I think
Okay,
that
so
the stuff
I-
they go overboard on is the same stuff the boys goes overboard on, but it's done in less of a wow superheroes and more of a this is haunting because it's so real, despite it being fucking fantasy and dragons.
Jack, if I had to choose between one show to watch in the next week, between Andor or House of the Dragon, which one would you recommend?
That's a
Actually,
great
this is kind of an easy answer for me.
Okay,
I will say, well, I say that, but
doesn't sound that easy.
I'll say House of the Dragon. House of the Dragon is my
Wow.
favorite show going
Damn
on
it!
right now.
Oh, I was
Yeah.
really hoping you were going to say Andor.
Well,
right.
look, it's both shows have this attribute that you can watch a scene the first time and take something away from it, and then rewatch the exact same scene a day later, a week later, a month later, and be like, I'm analyzing this in a completely different way this time. There's so many different levels to every conversation, every character dynamic. Like there are so many angles. I mean, that's why I was asking Thomas these questions at the end. What's this person's motivation? Why didn't this person do this? Because there are so many different ways to interpret it. And there isn't one final answer. It's just kind of there for you to decide. But with House of the Dragon, it's got more of that roller coaster feel. It's got more of that, like, I don't know, like every episode. And not that I'm not excited for Andor. I freaking love Andor.
Yeah,
but
that's
it
why
is more of
that's why
that.
I asked, is 'cause
I
I was
know.
really hoping I could.
It
maybe
is more of
steer
that
away
slow
from it,
burn.
but-
So it is what you
Okay.
prefer. Like it is more. I don't know. Have you heard of the Americans TV show?
Oh yeah, that FX show that.
Yes.
I haven't watched it, but
Okay.
I'm familiar. Yeah.
It's kind of in that vein of like it is a slow burn and the payoffs are huge. They're great.
Okay.
But something about House of the Dragon, it's more of that you have no idea what to expect, but because you care about the world and characters so much because of the great writing, you just say strap me in, I'm ready to go, and it just takes you off. So I would say House of the Dragon. That's kind of my selling point, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's
All right.
impressive that we have Andor and House of the Dragon, and they're doing so many things similar to each other, but in such different worlds and universes. And somehow they are both pulling it off on a level we did not expect them to do. Like House of the Dragon, we were like, all right, it's Game of Thrones. Like, let's see what this is. Episode 1 set a precedent, and it was like, boom, gone. Andor, holy crap, has it taken me by storm. JRB, if I had to tell you which one to watch, I will say 9 episodes of House of the Dragon goes at a way different pace than 7 episodes of Andor. It's faster. It's more clipped. It draws you in. Andor is a slow burn. It takes a little bit. Like the first 3 episodes dropped. The reason they did is that's one story to give you an idea what's happening.
Yeah.
Then the next 3 episodes are so damn good individually and do so many little things and nuances that the first 3 episodes also do. And it pulls you and continues moving you forward. This last episode is the most House of Dragon episode, like comparison. This last episode, in my opinion, comparative to House of the Dragon, they're there. Like Andor, last episode, Jack, you don't know this yet, my favorite Andor episode. It might be my new favorite Star Wars thing ever because it's everything I've wanted. It's everything I've wanted from this series after Rogue One came out. Like, I'm like, wow. Like, the hierarchy of the Star Wars universe has changed. It used to be
It
action
has.
scenes. Now it's the ISB meetings. Yes.
Right? Yeah, Andor
So-
is less flashy.
Yes.
It's much less
It's-
flashy, and
Mhm.
you have to.
Yes.
I think just
I
with
don't,
Andor,
I
you
don't
have
need
to be
flashy.
okay. Good.
If something's
Good.
flashy, I tend to stay away from it more. That's the main reason I haven't watched Game of Thrones, is
All
because
right, then.
everyone else was.
See, yeah.
I would just say, like, from my experience anyway. So I don't know where you fit in, JRB, but you really got to be invested in a particular mood for Andor. Like, because like it's one of those things where like you can't just like, I gotta kind of go on my phone every now and then, or else you're gonna miss the subtlety of everything.
Gotcha.
You
So
can
yeah,
do that with House of the Dragon. You can take 30 seconds to send a tweet.
right. You might like. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if you like Andor more, but House of the Dragon, for me anyway, is just it's the one where like it's 9:00 Eastern time. I'm strapping in. I got some sort of sweet treat that I'm ready to just gnaw on, and I'm ready to go.
That I can relate to. I'll do that no matter what's on the TV.
There you go.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
can confirm. I don't like staying up late. Like I miss evening shows to watch with everyone.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
but like House of the Dragon, man, sometimes I'm just like, I mean, it comes on at 8 here, so it's not that late, but like I'm winding down after 7 hours of football, doing laundry, cleaning my room, like cleaning up and getting ready for work the next day. And I'm like, all right, I'm about to be up till 10:30 scrolling Twitter, finding memes because this is going to end at 9 and I won't be able to close down my brain because it's going to be so effing good.
Yeah.
And Andor is, I wake up and I watch it and then I think about it all day, right? But it doesn't sit with me. Today's Thursday, and I don't want to say I've thought about House of the Dragon more, but I'm more excited for this upcoming episode of House of the Dragon than I am for Andor. Andor, I'm like, I know what I'm getting. Just shovel shit into my face I didn't know I needed. And House of the Dragon is like, what's gonna happen? I can plan this, and this, and I'm not as along for the ride. I'm along for the ride in a more violent way.
I think I know what you mean.
I'm being drugged behind a
Aggressive
dragon.
way.
Yeah. JRB. Jack, where can everyone find you in your podcast? We got to get you out of here. We're already running over.
All good. No, I could be here till 7:20, so this is perfect. You can find me on Twitter at Jack Pews. It's PUES, all one word. You can also find me with Reckless Rebellion most of the time, not these past 2 weeks, but most of the time you can find me on Reckless Rebellion. That's at Reckless Rebels, correct, Thomas, on Twitter?
Yes.
Star Wars podcast that I do with Thomas Carter Rochester, Kleinfeld, and David Thompson.
Sometimes.
And yeah, sometimes Coach David Thompson, teacher David Thompson.
The box office, David.
The box office, David Thompson. But yeah, and then you can also find me again, sometimes at thedirect.com. You can definitely find me on this recent episode of the Direct Podcast reviewing Andor episode 7 with Matt Remke. So please check that out. And boys, thank you so much for having me. I love talking about this show. Jeremy, great to talk to you. It's been definitely a long time.
Yeah, man.
And Thomas, it's been a long time for us considering I usually talk to you weekly.
Yeah.
So
it's been 2 weeks since you talked to me.
it had, what was that little like country in there?
Hey, don't point out.
He's a totally different person this week.
He is. The beard has thrown everybody off, including him.
Man, turn your back and he'll totally change on you. He'll sell out so quick.
Hold on, you guys want my beard back? God, you're just begging for it. There it is.
Oh, that's
Put my
horrible.
mustache back on.
Oh, wow.
It's glued into my
Sure.
my actual hair. Yeah.
Oh, such
Okay,
a
you
poser.
Lauren.
Hey guys, I'm back. Wow. I'm not mad about it. Jack, you head on out of here. You get ready for fantasy football. Text me if they mention who's the starting quarterback, because they said they're going to announce it before the game. And I'm debating on if I want to put Taysom Hill in because I'm hoping Winston and Andy Dalton are both like injured and can't play, and Taysom Hill's the quarterback because I need some points in my flex position. Thank you.
Keep me updated too, because I will go into my league and pick up Taysom Hill if I have to, because James Conner is, for whatever reason, out again, and I have no running back.
Also, I hate you for picking up Rashad Bateman. I didn't know he was available in our league, and I wanted to pick him up because I have fucking Duvernay, and I'm pissed.
Someone dropped him recently. It was Richard. Richard dropped him, and I saw him. I was like, I was last on the waiver order, and I was like, I hope nobody else claimed him because I need him badly. because Marquise Brown is out for probably 2 months now. So anyway, boys,
I would have.
Thank you so much for having me on. I'll be in touch about fantasy football. Enjoy the rest of the show, boys.
We shall.
Good night, all.
Good night. We are going to take a very brief ad break to recombobulate our brains, and then we're going to go fast, furious, 40 minutes in the news.
Famous Faces and Funnies in Melbourne, Florida is leading the way in pop culture fun. From comic books and graphic novels to Funko Pops and collector's items, Famous Faces and Funnies has it all. Rick Shea and the professional team at Famous Faces and Funnies are friendly and knowledgeable. Whether you're looking for toys, props, collector treasures, or a new comic book, Famous Faces and Funnies is your one-stop shop. To find Famous Faces and Funnies on Facebook and Twitter, just type at FFF Comics.
I know how much you value JRB. Terry McIver's opinion. He says, House of the Dragon, he's of no interest at all. Man, I've yelled a lot. I can feel it in my voice. And quite a bit of it was shot 5 minutes from his house there in good old Ireland. Andor, even with it being set in space with starships, alien species, and all its wondrous galaxy to explore, is grounded in reality quite a bit. He's loved every second of it. That's his recommendation to you. I'm going to recommend I'm recommending House of the Dragon because you have a week to get to the finale. And if you watch
it's a tall order,
an episode or two a day,
or two, that's so much.
Well,
I'm on the brink of not watching it at all.
Well, I'm just saying, if you watch it in the time spans, you can watch like the first 3 episodes or the first 4 episodes, however you want. Like that's a time span. Then we have a time jump for 2 episodes, and then time jump for 2 episodes. Like, that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying, bro. So like you can break it up by ages. And Andor is still going for the next 5 weeks. So like that's why I'm pushing House of the Dragon.
How many episodes is it?
There's 12 episodes.
Holy cow.
Episode 7 was this week. Yeah. So House of the Andor is still going, man. And you got time to hop on that. You got time to hop on that Star Speeder. But let's jump on into everyone's favorite segment of the week. What, the news? How's your voice doing, Big Sexy?
It's doing a little better. I've got this Yogi tea courtesy of TCR. It's his morning recommendation for me. I woke up without a voice today, or well, it felt like it at least. But that helped a lot. So I think I'm doing okay. We're an hour in. I'm feeling a little scratchy, but I think my volume's still there.
Would you like me to just power through this so you can save your voice a little bit?
I will provide my color commentary as needed.
That's great. You did the hard work on typey. I will do the hard work on talkie.
Thank you.
So the DC film slate has gone bonkers. Wow. Okay, there's so much here. There's more than you have here for sure.
There is more. I included the 2 points that I thought
were the most. So let's just say they're doing a bunch of shit. Matt Reeves, the Bat King. I'm pitching this idea of his nickname. The Bat King, Matt Reeves, is going to be developing, was told, do whatever you want, develop more villain stories like he's doing with the Penguin and like they've got with the movies of Joker and such, outside of the Bat Reeves universe. The Bat Reeves universe. I like that. That was good.
There's your money right there.
He is the Bat King, but his universe is the Bat Reeves universe. So love it. Anyways, he's developing more stories than that. He's got carte blanche, it sounds like. He's got Cate Blanchett to pay for everything in that if you enjoy Jump Street movies. Aquaman, they're still going down Aquaman. They've already developed a script for Flash 2, and it's in very, very early pre-production for that. Maybe they'll have a new Flash. I saw that earlier today. That was fantastic.
Yeah, a lot of fans actually seem to like that idea.
I mean,
finally, right?
Finally.
We'll talk about that more in a minute.
And then, they're continuing Aquaman, Wonder Woman, etc. Shazam is still going to keep going forward. But James Gunn, is in talks with Warner Brothers to make a DC mystery movie. I'm going to rephrase that to a mystery DC movie, amongst some other things. The Hollywood Reporter exclusively reported that James Gunn, obviously he made Guardians of the Galaxy movies, as well as the Suicide Squad and Peacemaker, is angling for his own new DC project or two. Sources say that Gunn and producer Peter Safran are in talks with Warner Brothers for a mystery movie, possibly more, that he would tackle. Safran is already in the DC business. He's a producer with Shazam and its upcoming sequel, as well as Aquaman and that movie sequel. Warner's had no comment, but as one insider observed, a carving of the comic company's intellectual assets is happening. DC is definitely in play, says this person. How much play may depend on your perspective from inside or outside the studio. What do you think of that, bud?
I think it makes sense because James Gunn has brought nothing but success to the DC franchise so far. Everything he's touched, people have loved. He completely flipped the very broken image of the Suicide Squad and created a whole new product where in recent memory, now most people only think of the good one. Then there's Peacemaker, by far the best DC entry in years for a lot of casual fans that don't follow like the CW shows. Like this was groundbreaking for them because it was that DC brand, but didn't really lean into the Superman Batman side of things, and finally showed that other parts of the DC universe can succeed when they're under the right direction. So I think it makes sense that James Gunn is going to be able to do basically whatever he wants. A lot like Matt Reeves. They see huge success with these projects like the Suicide Squad, the Batman, Peacemaker series on HBO Max. And they're going to grant more freedom to those creatives so that they can bring in more success. So I think it makes perfect sense that they're going to let James Gunn produce more. He's already said that he wants to. He said he has a whole list of things he wants to do over there.
Yep.
So I am sad because this does kind of solidify that he's not going to be more than a consultant for Marvel at this point, because it seems like this is just going to take up all of his foreseeable future. But yeah, I think it's exciting. What do you think? Is there anyone that comes to mind? I know they made an emphasis around the mystery of it, that they have no idea what he could be working on currently. But do you think it says anything that he is working alongside Peter Safran? Because he has the involvement in Shazam and Aquaman. Do you think maybe we could finally be seeing something like that Trench movie that we were supposed to get?
No.
Then what do you think this is? Because that pairing doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me unless he's going to be like taking over one of those franchises. What do you think is new and fresh that they could bring to the table?
I think they could do a lot. He could be picking out a character from, like, he could be continuing the story from the characters of the Suicide Squad, those who got their chips out of their neck, right? I don't know. I've heard Black Adam allegedly retconned the Suicide Squad. I saw that scrolling on Twitter and I said, nah, fuck you. I'll find out when I watch the movie. You have something down in here later on that I don't even know if I want to say on this podcast, because the movie comes out tomorrow, time of recording, and I'm not going to get to see it. And I'm kind of pissed that I saw it on Twitter. Grace Randall.
Yeah.
So
yeah, she is.
So
she still has me blocked, by the way. So like everyone was sending me that tweet.
Yes.
Yeah. Which way are we going here?
Your
this
left.
way.
Your left, my right.
Sorry, I'm mirrored. But yeah, no, everyone was sending me that tweet, and I was like, I don't know what you're trying to show me right now.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So
horrible spoiler.
Anyway,
it was actually a blessing in disguise because I didn't see it, but then it got me later anyway.
It got you later. So, but there's a lot going on. I will say there's a mystery movie, of course. He's working with the person who's made two very upbeat, happy movies. I would say happy, but like fun romps. Shazam and its upcoming sequel, Aquaman and its upcoming sequel, both are good energy, and then they seem to be getting a little darker, a little bit grittier. They announced that a Man of Steel 2 is in the works in this report, in this sequencing of reports. I'm going to say perhaps James Gunn is doing that. I don't think he is, but maybe
that would be so wild if he
was. Who do we want to do this Man of Steel 2 movie? Well, why don't we just get Jimmy Gunn? because he
What if
can't
it's-
fucking miss.
Oh my God! What if it's the Suicide Squad kills the Justice League? They
That'd be
just
fun.
put a video. Their video game for the Suicide Squad. That
True.
trailer is like, who's the target, and it shows
Yeah, it's
Superman. coming in,
Superman,
and
yeah.
they're like,
Yeah,
oh, shit.
yeah.
Like, imagine that in a movie form.
Taken over basically by a Starro-esque type of character.
Right,
too.
right.
So that'd be a lot of fun.
That would be crazy.
Deathstroke is another mention with Joe Magniello.
Oh, Jack Hughes just sent us a Twitter DM saying Andy Dalton is the Saints starter tonight.
Oh, do I start Chris Olave? I don't know if I want to start Chris Olave.
Gonna be a heavy run game.
I mean,
Heavy,
as always.
heavy-
Anyways, back to this plot here.
Sorry.
Let's see. He only missed one game. Oh, I'm gonna start Chris Olave. Fuck it. He's only missed one game, and it was last week, and everything else, even with Andy Dalton, is double digits, and that's kind of what I'm looking for right now. I don't know what it is. I like the idea that it's something new that we've not seen yet. It could be Deathstroke. I'm hoping it's a character that has yet to be on screen ever, but is a very important character. I'd love it to be Green Lantern. I just thought of it. And I know he's done a lot of shit in space, and it would be kind of derivative for him to do it in space. But the Green Lantern
That would actually
on the
really work.
big screen, dude. Like, they still are making this Green Lantern show, so they say, but I don't give a shit. Give me Jimmy Gunn. Give me...
Oh, the Green Lantern Corps would be so fun for him to make, too.
Right? He would make it amazing, dude.
Oh, man, that actually works really well.
So
And he'd be the perfect guy to tap for a HBO series if he wanted to spin off any of those characters, too.
Yeah, exactly. So you get it.
Oh my God.
Let's
That would
move
be-
forward.
I really like that.
All right. Man of Steel 2. It's happening with Henry Cavill. Why? Dwayne Johnson reportedly demanded the return of Superman and went behind Walter Hamada's back to get it done. He went full court press on Warner Brothers and made them go to Henry Cavill, and they had to sign a new deal with Henry Cavill, including saying they were going to develop a new Superman movie, and it was all because The Rock insisted. At Viewer Anon said, I have heard you can thank The Rock for this. He was insistent that sides come together. THR said, after Hamada said no, Johnson went around the executive, turning to DeLuca and Abdi, who gave it the thumbs up, in charge of Warner Brothers, I do believe. A furious round of negotiating occurred before Labor Day, a deadline insisted on by Warner's, with the scene that we're not going to mention, shot in mid-September. And because we're talking about The Rock, he also says that Black Adam is part of phase 1 of storytelling in our DC universe. Now, they've talked about exploring the idea of multiverse, and we've got the Bat Reeves universe. I love it. And we've got the Flash doing shit over here, and other pocket universes. Is there just going to be a Black Adam universe where it connects to Shazam, and it's just a small pocket universe of characters that do get to cross over? I covered my face. I broke the rules. What do you think about that? As well as the Man of Steel 2 of it all, because that's my big takeaway is we're getting a Man of Steel 2, baby. Finally, let's fucking go.
I don't know how I feel about it because, like,
yes,
does that mean we're cherry picking, kind of like with what Marvel's doing with like the Netflix series, where they're just taking the parts they want and leaving behind the parts they don't?
Yeah, it's exactly what they're
it's
doing.
kind of actually what they did with that soft reboot for the Suicide Squad. They're kind of just conveniently forgetting the parts people didn't latch onto. So I don't, obviously no one wants that, but if something didn't work, then yeah, revamp it and make it work better. So it's worked for other things. Clearly general audiences don't really have a problem with it at the end of the day. So I don't have an issue with that idea. I will always wish that there was a way they could have made it work, but I think it's just become such a mess at this point that it probably is better to lean into that idea of like a soft restart, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, if we could go through and like pick and choose, I would obviously take Henry Cavill's Superman. I would take the new Suicide Squad movie way over the old one. I would still want Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman, but I definitely wouldn't do anything again like Wonder Woman 84. So like, yeah, there are definitely characters that I like, but entries, including them that I don't, I would probably redo Batfleck entirely. Still have him as Batman, but just restart that entire thing, you know? So
You insane animal. I love you. I love you so much. That was amazing. I love Batfleck. I love it so much. He's got the jaw. He's the best Bruce Wayne we've ever got. And I stand by that. And Batman is not that hard to be good at.
The moments I don't like of Ben Affleck's Batman are strictly due to writing. It is not his fault. The acting's perfect. The image is spot on. I really like the original look they gave him for his bat suit. I love that he had like 7 different bat suits too. Like we got different types of Batman, you know, so that was cool. But like Ben Affleck as Batman worked for me, but the writing didn't. So if we could have another shot at that, or maybe just try giving him a movie, I don't think it's possible at this point with how well Robert Pattinson's being received. But I mean, seeing him again would be cool.
Oh my God, David Nestor hanging out with us here. Live action Super Pets.
I'm not against it.
I'm not against it
at all.
You can give me real doggies that fly.
Oh man, I'm more interested in the giant pig that just screams different names for herself all the time. That would be my favorite. Live action, dude? Could you imagine?
Yeah, I could. I could. That'll do, pig. That'll do. Terry says, I'd be happy enough if DC gives us some world building movies. So far, it feels like we've had standalone stories with crossovers / special guest appearances. I concur, sir. I concur. How do you feel about anything else on this story? The last 2 stories we talked about, the bringing back Henry Cavill. I just want to say, let's fucking go, Dwayne Johnson, coming in, going to bat for your guy. And if this now means Black Adam versus Superman finally happens, I think Superman wins this battle because he's mentioned Black Adam, will only lose to Superman if it's the right actor.
Mm-hmm.
This is who he wants to play Superman. This is his, as he says, this is the current generation's Superman. And I agree. You may not like I love Man of Steel. I do.
Did he really say that?
He did. He said that.
Wow. That's ambitious.
That it's this generation Superman?
Yeah. I mean, Superman's more than just a movie. He's an icon, you know? Like that's
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like,
yeah, that's wild.
That's how powerful that is. And he's not wrong. The last live action Superman before Henry Cavill was, I know people want to go Tom Welling, but he was never Superman. He was just Clark Kent. No suits, no tights, no flights, right? It was Brandon Routh.
Brandon Routh from Superman Returns. That was what, 2005, 2006?
Something along those lines, yeah. So
that was my first PG-13 movie I saw.
Ooh, brr, so scandalous.
I know, there's a whole kiss scene with Amy Adams.
I think it was PG-13.
Oh yeah, Kevin Spacey was Lex Luthor.
Spacey was in it. I think that's the only reason it was PG-13.
Oh man, he was.
Yeah,
that was something.
So, anyways, I think that's a ballsy move. I'm not surprised he did it. And I've been saying, if anyone can get this done and bring Henry Cavill back and force Warner Brothers' hand, it's The Rock. And The Rock has done it because he's a goddamn G.
Yeah. It sounds like from all the reports coming out that he was very persistent in getting this done for whether it was for the views or for the fans or something in between. It seems like he might have done it. So we'll find out. I'm going to see Black Adam tomorrow night at 9:45.
F&A, Cotton.
F&A.
F&A,
yeah,
man.
It'll be cool. It'll be a good time. I know it's open to mixed reviews, but
yeah.
Really?
I gotta leave. I'm driving to Orlando tomorrow, and then I'm gonna go to bed when we're done because it's like 8 hours. We start at noon Eastern and it ends at like 8 Eastern. The next morning, I'm driving back.
Oh wow.
And I don't know if I want to go to the movies, and I'm supposed to pick up a friend from the airport later that night at like 11. So I'm like, I don't know if I'm gonna see this movie.
Busy man. What about Sunday? Or Sunday when you drive back?
Whoa, Lois.
Oh,
This
because
is
the
not
House of
my
the Dragon
Batman
finale?
class. What are you talking about? Football?
Well, there's time in between.
No, there's not.
You can. That's true. The night games have been going till like 10 p.m. lately.
I don't even watch the night games.
Because of House of the Dragon?
Because I watch House of Dragon, and the day games don't until like 6:20. And I also, important note, I live like 30 to 45 minutes away from the only theater that I would watch this movie.
So
on.
it's a trip. Okay.
It's a hike. Like
Yeah.
there might be time Saturday night if I time it right to go watch that movie because it's closer to the airport than my house is.
Gotcha.
So I could swing to the airport after, right? But you know, we'll see.
Catch a matinee before picking up a friend. Yeah, I'm sorry. That was the spoiled city boy in me coming out.
An evening.
Evening.
Because it's late at night. They get back in at 11 p.m. So
oh yikes. Okay.
yeah. They're coming from Mexico. So they had a birthday weekend. So that's what I'm not mad.
Sounds like it might just be a bad weekend.
Might just be a bad weekend. Yeah. I mean, unless I do like a 10 a.m. showing, but then I'm missing the start of football. And I'm pretty sure the Cowboys play at like noon this week, and it's a featured game on CBS.
Really?
So yep.
Is it in oh, you're right. It might be a division game, actually.
It's not. I swear to God, if we get a stupid Jaguars game, I'm gonna revolt. We are. Damn it.
Jaguars?
I live in Florida. We're playing the Lions, but it's the game of the week kind of thing. So I'm hoping
I get
like
you.
Joe Buck in Troy, wrong. Joe Buck, no, still wrong. What's his nuts and Tony Romo are gonna be there. So Brad Nessler. God damn. I'm so sorry, Brad. I just remembered Cowboys quarterback. And I was like, Joe Buck and Tony Romo. No, that's not right. Joe Buck and Troy Aikman. That's not right. That's not who's. It's Tony Romo.
So many Cowboys quarterbacks.
And somehow they're the only good color commentators other than Kirk Herbstreit.
You don't like Greg Olson?
No, he's okay.
I don't blame you.
He's all
pretty
right.
average.
You know who's worse of all? Collinsworth.
You did not just disrespect Chris Collinsworth on this. You know what? Actually, Chris Collinsworth is also a sellout, so I will join you on that front.
I'm literally
because
saying
he ditched our friend.
Like
Go ahead.
Al Michaels?
Yeah.
I think Al Michaels ditched him.
Well, that's true. It is weird seeing Al on a streaming service now.
And am I fucking insane? 30 seconds left of this conversation. Am I fucking insane? Or does Amazon Prime have the greatest football lineup of the greatest football commentary since Al Michaels and John Madden? Am I insane for thinking that?
No, it's real. I don't know how they did it, but
I don't either, man.
I actually will. I do know how they did it. Money.
That Amazon Prime money, that the boys money, that Lord of the Rings money.
Flying those drones to your home wasn't enough. Now they're in your living room every Monday night watching football with you.
Last week was the only Thursday game I didn't watch. Last week was the only Thursday game I didn't watch.
Well, that one was a stinker. I mean,
I turned it on near the end because I'm like, there's a chance that this game could go to the end, and it went to the end, and I was like, all right, cool. I'm glad I watched the end. It's Kirk Herbstreit and Al Michaels that brings me in every week, and I'm like, there's sweet music to my ears, man. The pro football announcer with the college football color commentator.
One of the gripes I have with the NBA right now. They're not even close.
Yeah, I don't even.
Their
know.
announcing game is dog shit.
I don't
right
even
now.
watch.
Anyway,
the basketball.
We're so off topic at this point. I don't know how we got here.
It's because we didn't want to talk about Ezra Miller potentially facing a life sentence +1 in prison, and by life sentence I mean JRB's life +1 year of a sentence.
If this goes the way they want it to go, Ezra Miller's going to be in jail for almost or over as long as I've been alive. 26 years.
That's insane. You know what I'm going to say about that? Moving on. I don't give a shit.
He pled not guilty. They pled not guilty. So that's going to trial.
We shall see how it unfolds, and that'll be it for me, if I'm being honest. All right. So
Now the depressing stuff.
It's not that depressed. I'm actually not depressed at all with how this unfolded.
It's really not that big of a deal.
Like, I'm going to run through this really quick because this isn't even, I just remembered something. We covered it last week, but I don't remember if we covered it for the movie. It was Harrison Ford.
Yeah.
It was last minute. I know we talked about it. Did we talk about it being New World Order?
No.
Or the Thunderbolts?
No. Previously, he had been rumored to take over for the Thunderbolts movie. Now, there's a report saying that Harrison Ford is taking over the role of Thaddeus Ross for Captain America 4. Yeah.
And it's been quote unquote confirmed. And that makes me really water break. Really excited.
I'm excited because from the character description they even got as specific as telling us that he's not going to have any involvement with politics or military or anything. So the Sokovia Accords being repealed, I don't know if that was some sort of last straw for him or if that caused him to, if that discredited him in any way, but it seems like he's outside the law this time and perfect time to assemble a team like Thunderbolts because I'm sure he's still got some connections. Makes a lot more sense now for Abomination to be part of it too. So like Abomination's going to be part of this. He has to be because I can't imagine they would be keeping Thunderbolt Ross around. Emil has to be one of the main reasons why he's still around, right? I mean, he's one of the only connections he's got left at this point, I feel like.
Yeah, even though he kind of fucked him in the ass.
Yeah, that's true. He did kind of use him as his main reason for wanting to get out of prison was that Ross was the reason he was there.
Exactly.
Good point.
So, but I like that we have Harrison Ford coming in. It really sets up the idea of maybe it's a Skrull. It also sets up the idea that it's a variant. I don't think it's even going to be mentioned. I think it's going to be the same character. We'll see where it goes. I'm excited.
They'll probably do some tongue-in-cheek, weird, wink, wink type deal, if anything. But you're right. The chances are it's going to be like Rhodey, where they're like, I'm here, deal with it. And they just move right on.
I got you. I know what it is. Are you ready?
Yep.
General Ross? Like, I wasn't expecting to see you. I know. Boom. Done. Thank you. Thank you for coming to my Star Wars reference talk. I appreciate everyone for hanging out. And if it's not that, I'm going to be pissed. His first words are going to be, I know. But it's going to be like, I wasn't expecting to see you here. I know. It's going to be cool.
Really think that they would... Okay. I will remain hopeful because that would be funny.
It would be funny. It'd be subtle, and it's how they can reference it and tie it into Star Wars, and it's about the best. It's like the only thing that could be done. I lied. It's not the only thing, but anyways, I'm excited for this news because he doesn't really give a fuck about franchises. I feel like he does care about the money, right? Like everybody's got bills to pay. Right. But I also think that he wants to be challenged and wants to do something fun and enjoyable, as well as do some great acting. I think the idea that he gets to play, like he gets to put on, maybe he doesn't even have, if he becomes Red Hulk, he might not have to do anything but have his face scanned. Because like physically, he's going to be a different guy. Or maybe he's totally jacked about the idea of wearing the stupid suit and like going around and becoming this literally larger than life character in a way that he never had to, like he never could before, especially with where the technology's gone. More than anything, I think the script is fucking great. I think it's giving him an opportunity to really cut through some shit. And with the leader involved, Ross is now involved. Like maybe Ross is the one who goes to, maybe he's not Red Hulk at all. Maybe it's not until Thunderbolts, right? But I think there's a point that he goes, especially after Endgame and how everything turned out, especially with, the Sokovia Accords. Maybe he was snapped away. Maybe he wasn't. I don't remember how that fell. He might be like, listen, Sam, I need you. I need your help. Samuel Stern is going on this way. He might recruit Captain America.
That would be pretty cool.
That's what I want.
It'll be interesting to see why Captain America would go with him, or what credibility he could even offer after being basically the one that locked Sam up in Civil War. But
good point. Good point. So
That
we don't
would
know
be
how
a really
this
great beat for Sam to actually get over as a character, though.
It would.
For the greater good. So actually, that could work. Yeah, I could see that.
I feel like this is the movie we'll learn about how the Sokovia Accords got repealed. I don't think we find out until this movie because Thunderbolt Ross was so heavily involved, and not a single movie coming out before then, other than Ant-Man, which is literally a different universe and time that we're about to play in, is going to be talking about like is any character that was involved in that sequence. They're all gone. They're all, to quote Rambo, First Blood, they're all gone, sir. They're all gone. So I think that's maybe Secret Invasion actually with Nick Fury and Cheadle, but let's move off of this. Let's talk about the delays. We got 11 minutes before we got to get the hell out of here. Blade originally expected to start filming at the beginning of October. The last minute split between Marvel and Blade's director pushed the start of production to January 23. Some casting calls are now saying that it'll be delayed to spring 23. It's no longer coming out in 2023. It is now releasing September 6th, 2024. That was Deadpool's former date. It is now moving to November 8th, 2024, which was Fantastic Four's date. So it is now pushed to February 14th, 2025, moving the start of Phase 6 into a new calendar year, since Deadpool is taking over its November 24th spot.
I kind of like that because we're also doing that with Phase 5 next year.
Exactly. That works out beautifully with how it's going to land.
Yeah,
which
I kind
brings
of like
me
that.
to question something with you, good sir. Avengers Secret War moves from November 7th, 2025 to May 1st, 2026, a full year after the Kang Dynasty,
right,
coming out in May 25. In the same way Infinity War and Endgame is being done, now comes out in 2026. Sir?
Oh, yeah.
Will Phase 6 end in 2025? Or will it be the first one to carry over a calendar year? Because if they end it and they utilize the climax of Phase 5 and 6 to also start Phase 7, and it's Secret fucking Wars.
I definitely think that Secret Wars is going to be the first time we'll see like the end of one phase and the start of another phase in the same project. Because
so aggressively, you mean? Like aggressively?
Yeah, exactly right. Okay. Because like by the end of Secret Wars, I don't think it's going to be like Endgame where we're sitting here going, whew, like we made it through. Look at how far we've come. It's going to be like, what the fuck are we going to do now? I think it's going to be more along those lines. And the perfect way to do that is by positioning everything that you have planned for Phase 7, which is going to be apparently very X-Men heavy. I could totally see that being the catalyst for like, you know, the mutant saga that we can expect after, you know, we go through Avengers 5 and 6. But yeah, putting them a full year apart after just telling us a couple months ago, hey, you're going to get 2 Avengers movies in 1 year. We kind of all knew like, that's madness, you know, like that's crazy that you're doing that. But
literal madness.
Yeah, right. Like we were all questioning it. So putting a whole year between them, I think makes a little more sense. Obviously we want everything as fast as we can get it, but I do remember that whole year it took to process Infinity War and to get to Endgame made Endgame such a greater experience.
Yes, sir.
Dude, every time I went to that theater, even weeks after it had come out, the theater experience for Avengers Endgame was like no other. To kind of rebuild that formula to get back to something at least a little similar, I think is actually pretty exciting. So putting a whole year in between, we've done it once, we can do it again. You know, last time they did it, they killed everybody, and we had to wait a whole year thinking they were gone. So,
are you ready for this? Let me pitch you. They're going to destroy the entire fucking universe. Kang is going to win, and we're going to be left watching mirrors. The start of What If is going to be the end of Kang Dynasty. We're going to have to wait a year until... Come on, baby! This is my saga! Kang, multiverse, extra dimensions. I was born for this. Somebody hire me just to I'll be a grip, for God's sake. I will sign every NDA you need me to. This podcast specifically is ending. It's perfect timing. It is not ending because I'm signed on. It is not ending because I'm signed on to Marvel. And it's not officially ending. It's the end of weekly generations of this.
We're entering a new era.
A new
Phase
era.
4, if you will.
Oh, son of a bitch. Season 4, where we do. I mean, by the way, next week we get to do House of the Dragon and the Black Adam review. I have to see it before next.
You really do, yeah. You got to see it,
motherfucker.
Because we can't spend the whole episode only talking about things I haven't seen.
I don't know. Maybe. Anyways, last thing, because I love the idea of what I just said so much that I have to move on to Mephisto. He's been found allegedly. A new report from Deadline has potentially revealed Sacha Baron Cohen has joined the Marvel Cinematic Universe as the infamous Mephisto.
Yeah.
Potentially as early as next year's Disney Plus series Ironheart. In theory, he'd go on to play the same character in other projects, such as the upcoming WandaVision spinoff, Agatha, Coven of Chaos. Marvel Studios and the actors' representatives have not commented nor confirmed his involvement with the MCU. I'm going to keep this real simple with a question. How do you feel about this? Because I feel a type of way, and I wonder if we feel the same type of way.
I freaking love this idea. I think this could work so well because with a villain as maniacal and devious and straight up like savage as Mephisto, when you look at villains like Hela and Thanos and Killmonger, you see, man, they don't have a soul, but there's always that little speck of kind of like human nature in them. Mephisto will not have that. So he's going to be constantly a terrible person. So you're going to need a reason to watch him. And so spinning it by putting it in this comedic light, the MCU already does that so well with so many different elements. It makes total sense that they would want to make the evil, literally the king of everything evil, hilarious. You know, they would want to make him funny so that people will laugh when he's on screen, even when he's potentially incinerating someone's face right in front of us. We don't. Yeah. He's gonna raise that level of violence and of terror in the MCU naturally by who he is. So making it someone who is recognizable and is a borderline iconic, you know, is nice, you know, that is iconic, you know, my wife having something as silly and comedic and lighthearted. Exactly. Like that is the layer we need on a character like this, where you can bring the wider audience in to really invest in that character. So I'm really excited to see what they'll do with it. And I think that he'll play really well.
I'm so happy you love this, because I've seen people be like, what? Why? And I'm like, because he is an amazing dramatic actor. When you need him to bring it, he will bring it. When you need him to commit, oh my God, he will fucking commit. He will commit so hard that you won't even realize who he is. That's what Borat is. That's what Ali G is. That's what comedy does. And the best part is he will bring a very sardonic sense of humor. A very dark sense of humor. He might be like, oh, look, a puppy. I love this puppy so much. Let's kill the puppy. Like, you remember how they're talking about Ralph, my husband Ralph? And there's a chance that Ralph Boner wasn't just, you know, the character played by former Quicksilver. I'm losing the name right now, but I don't care. Evan Peters. There's a chance that Ralph is actually the bunny, like we all assumed. And he literally was turned into a fucking bunny because of Mephisto. There's a very strong chance.
It could very well be.
And I would find that hilarious.
I'm so glad you brought that up, because imagining him riffing with Catherine Hahn.
Oh my God.
Just the back and forth between them two. That's what I would tune in every week for. If that's what we can expect from Coven of Chaos, dude, that's going to be legit. I would tune in for that for 3 months straight.
You want to know something that I really want to tune in for? It's not in our notes, but I don't know if you saw this today, but I'm going to spring it. I'm hoping I'm springing this on you so hard that you're going to cry and spit that water out. Take another swig.
That's a lot of pressure.
Adam Driver, rumored to be in the MCU, rumored to have had discussions for the Fantastic Four, rumored.
Don't say Doom.
Reed Richards.
Reed Richards.
Reed Richards. Now, it's
No
unconfirmed.
way.
And when I saw the news of Adam Driver in the MCU, I'm like, Doom. And I was like, you know what? Honestly, no, I don't want to see him play a bad guy. I want to see him play a good guy. Oh, he could be Reed. Oh my God, he'd be a really good Reed. Oh my God. Adam Driver as Reed Richards versus Jonathan Majors as Kang the Conqueror.
Oh my gosh.
Think
I have to
about
look
that.
into this. What are we
Think
looking at
about
here?
that.
Oh,
Adam
here we go.
Driver. We talk about commitment, right? We're talking about commitment.
Yeah.
We've seen that commitment is what brings somebody to the MCU these days. Jonathan Majors and the way that he commits, he on the Creed set, he's got to bench like 250 pounds. Well, he means like, well, if I got to bench 250 in a movie, I have to literally be able to bench 275 a few times and then 305 a few times to be able to do 250 as easily as they need me to do in the script. Okay, I'm going to do that. In the scenes, he's like, don't give me those styrofoam weights. Give me the real weights. We're going to work out. We're going to do this live. We're going to do it for real. And we're going to commit and we're going to make a movie. And I'm going to tell the story, the real story. I'm not going to have to even act. Like, I'm not act, but I'm not going to act. Like, I'm just going to be the guy. That is Adam fucking Driver in every scene of every movie of, no, not even movie. When he's on Saturday Night Live, he commits. He commits. Him is
Reed Richards, I love that bit he does with the Star Wars one.
Oh my God, yeah. I'm ready for some real talk with some real folks. Exactly, JRB, exactly. That's what I should have went to.
It's so real. I literally thought it was part of the movie the first time I saw it because I was like, he's really selling this.
So, like, that's what I'm excited for. And him is Reed Richards, right? He can play like this silly, goofy, like nerdy kind of guy, but there's another version of Reed Richards out there, JRB. Do you know who it is? It's the creator. It's Reed Richards gone so bad. There's a universe out there where Kang the Conqueror doesn't exist because Reed Richards was making sure that he's dead.
That would be amazing.
I would love, like,
we're all thinking of the slick back vanilla version of Reed Richards that we saw in 2005, but what we don't know is this guy's got a dark side. And he's not like Tony Stark or Captain America where he tries to fight that dark side. Sometimes he gives into it.
He literally gives into it in this case, and I cannot wait. Adam Driver as Reed Richards in any version of Reed Richards, I'm all for. I love that idea more than I ever liked John Krasinski as Reed Richards.
The only issue I think I have with it is I don't know how he's going to look when he's all stretchy like, because we've all seen crap, I can't think of the nickname they gave for him, but when he had no shirt on.
Ben Swallow,
thank you. And I know Marvel is good with their effects, but they haven't been that good lately. Shang-Chi was good, but like some of the special effects have been kind of iffy lately, and I've already been a little concerned about how the Fantastic Four will look visually. I'm tempted to say you need a more slender guy to do something like this, but like at the same time, Adam Driver, like in the movie I saw, the Torture Report with him, he actually did look a lot skinnier. So like
he can go up and down in size. Like what he was doing was just, I think it was a play off of the Kylo Ren has an 8-pack, but I think he was all like that. Just might be his normal sitting. Like he wasn't super buff on his arms. He's just a thick guy. It's also the angle and how he wore his pants. In this case, when we looked at John Krasinski, was he super slender to you? No. And I'm okay with that. Here's why I'm okay with that. The dude fucking stretches. I don't need him to be slender. And David Nestor's mentioning Tom Ellis is also rumored for Reed. He doesn't see Adam as Reed. I think that's why Adam works so well as Reed. He's not gorgeous. It's not this super handsome guy. He's different. He's a little bit different. He's imperfect. And then it brings up, well, why don't you just make yourself into this perfect being? Why would I? This is who I am. Why would I change just because I got powers? It fits so well with the character and what he could do. JRB, we've wrapped our time, man. We've done it. We've done a show. Do you have any recommendations for the audience?
Recommendations for the audience. You go first.
Andor, House of the Dragon, love it. It's great. Watch it. I love you.
Wow.
also.
Okay, that gave me an extra 3 seconds.
But we're
I don't know.
running out
I'd
of
see.
time.
I wanted to recommend Eliza Schlesinger's new stand-up, but it was the first one I didn't like, which is really unfortunate because I think I would probably consider her like a top 10 comedian for me. But the most recent special she just released, which I didn't even know was coming out because I thought she just had her book coming out, but she had to tape it in Ohio, which I already thought was a little strange. But everyone's got their reasons. But it was not what I expected. So that's what I won't recommend this week is Eliza's new stand-up. What about you, TCR? Anything other than Andor, House of the Dragon, all the great TV that we have going right now? Any personal promotion you have?
I've got nothing right now. Nothing I can talk about.
He's not allowed to say any of it yet. Sorry.
Yeah. NDAs and silence and secrets. And
he'll shave his beard and make us all wonder, but he won't give us any of those juicy details.
Oh, you know what? Actually, yeah, I haven't watched it, but I've heard great things about it, and I recommended it to our good friend Jade. Redeem Team on Netflix.
I did watch that.
97-minute documentary. I can't wait to watch it. I'm
I think you'll like
for all of us.
It does feel a little weird
too.
because like some of the guys in it are still playing in the league right now, but like it's pretty well put together.
Yeah, that's kind of why I'm intrigued. Like, you got people who retired, and then you've got LeBron who never retires. So,
and there's a good portion of it that Kobe's in too, which is cool.
Yeah, that's why I'm intrigued. Like, I saw what he did. I can't wait to see. I was listening to someone on the radio here on ESPN radio, and someone started talking about it, and I pulled up to a job site, and I was like, perfect, I can shut this off so I don't get spoilers on this amazing story. It's like these guys go out to a bar in like the first night of being together, and Kobe, and I was like, shut off, Kobe. I don't care. Can't wait. Guys, gals, and non-binary pals, we've reached the end of the show. We have 8 minutes to get our picks set up. As always, there could be no show without the Iron Man variant. To my right, world-famous journalist John Ross Bradford, bringing a much-needed eloquence and wit. Thank you to Terry McIver and David Thompson for their work behind the scenes. Thank you to the HWWS WebTV family for supporting us and carrying us on the network. Most importantly, thank you to you, our fans who join us weekly. Thank you, David Nestor, for hanging in the comments. Terry McIver for joining us so late over there in Ireland and staying in the comments with us. Whether you're watching
David
on Facebook,
also in Ireland.
David, my Ireland brothers. That's wrong. That's the wrong accent. I can't do one. Apologies. Whether you're watching on Facebook, Twitter, or YouTube, or listening via Apple Podcasts, Good Pods, or Spotify, you can hear my voice changing right now. It's painful. We appreciate you spending your time with us.
Oh, yes, we do. Even when my voice is going in and out as we speak, please like, follow, subscribe, give us a comment and a review. Leave us a 5-star review, if you will, but only if you think we are worthy.
Worthy. As always, I'm TCR.
And I'm JRB.
Thank you for joining episode 105 of LTA. We'll see you next time. God, I just bit my tongue again.
Let's go watch some.